planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. So at any point of time, whenever you go to an initiating process group, that means you are coming to, it is a process group of processes. So maybe at any point of time, when you make a decision that you need to, like a contract out a quantum of work to vendor suppliers, that means you are looking for vendor suppliers that in the procurement documentation. So that means you are going to which process group? Initiating process group. Okay, so this identifies stakeholders. It is not linear in nature. It's a cycle. Clear? Clear all of it, Navneet? Harsh? Sumit? Sudhakar? Great. Output is what? Stakeholder register. Isn't it? Now you would be doing stakeholder analysis. We have seen the salience model, power, urgency and legitimacy, and we have also seen the power influence grid, wherein you see individuals with maximum power and maximum influence, they need to be managed closely. Individuals with maximum power compared with less influence, they need to be keep satisfied. Individuals who have maximum influence and comparatively less power, they need to be
informed.
Keep informed. And individuals who have got less power and less influence, they need to be monitored. Clear? We have seen that. Now, next, for scope, we have seen plan, scope management. What were the inputs for plan scope management? We have seen project charter, siblings, and
project management plan.
It is a project charter. Yes, project management plan excellent. Why? For iterations and your for scope for plan scope management, your siblings, enterprise, environmental factors, operation processes. Output would be a scope management plan. This is fed as an input for collect requirement. So what do you have when you are going to collect requirement? What are the inputs? Project charter, stakeholder register will be collecting requirement from whom? From the stakeholders, isn't it? Output would be requirement documentation and requirement traceability matrix. Another output of plan scope management was what? Requirement management plan, which tells you how you are going to manage requirement. So that is also fed as an input out here. Then the requirement that you have collected, that is fed as an input for which process? Define scope. You come out with a scope statement. Fed as an input to which process? Create WBS. Come out with your scope baseline. Remember? What was the tool and technique that we used for WBS? Decomposition. Where you break down the project into low-level deliverables. What was the lowest level of the deliverable? Work package.
Work package.
Isn't it? What is the difference between a planning package and a work package?
Work package is a deliverable and the planning package
Which is planning package is what? When you have
which
what
needs
model now for today and maybe tomorrow.
yeah, an element in your WBS where you know it has got known work content which you have not broken down now, we are going to break it down later on. That is called a
Planning package.
planning package. Excellent. Now what happens? For project time management, next what happened? Plan, schedule, management. What would be your input? Input would be project charter, project management plan, siblings. You come out with your schedule management plan. Next, define activities. Isn't it? Input would be schedule management plan and scope baseline, because your work package, that is the starting point for defining the activities. Isn't it? You need to find out what the activities you need to perform in order to achieve the deliverable. Output activity list, activity attributes, milestone list. Here also we use decomposition. Next process, after you have defined activities, you need to find the logical relationship between the activities. 4 types of relationships we have seen. Finish to start, start to start, start to finish, finish to finish. Then what happens? Sequence activities. We come out with a project schedule network diagram. Next, estimate activity resources. In order to estimate activity resources, what we require, we need to know what are the activities in the first place. Isn't it? Activity list, activity, you come out with activity resource requirement. Depending on what resources you are deploying, according to the time frame would be defined. Estimate activity duration, you come out with activity duration, isn't it? And once you, all the outputs of the previous processes are used as input for develop schedule. You come out with your project schedule, and once the schedule has been mutually accepted, it becomes your schedule baseline. Next, for cost, we had similarly plan, cost management, where again the inputs and the outputs we have seen. Output would be cost management plan, input would be project charter. Project management plan, your siblings, estimate cost, come out with activity cost estimate and basis of the estimate, which again is fed as an input for the next process. Determine budget, you come out with the cost performance baseline and the project funding requirement. Remember? Next, what happens for quality? Plan quality management, come out with the quality management plan. Communication, plan, no, oh sorry, HR is plan. Human resource management, you come out with human resource management plan. Now what is the input for a human resource plan? Activity resource requirement, isn't it? Activity resource requirement, which came out as an output of which process? Estimate activity resources. Because what does a human resource plan tells you? What profile of people you require, when you require those profiles, how long you would be continuing with those profiles, when you would be releasing those profiles, and what is going to be the reporting hierarchy of those profiles, isn't it? For communication, you come out with plan communication management, you come out with a communication plan. Risk, we have already seen today. Plan, risk management, you come out with risk management plan. It has the scale, risk breakdown structure, then you identify risk, output it comes out in the form of a risk register, you perform analysis. These are all analysis, planning actions, activities you are performing. Then we perform qualitative risk analysis, we perform quantitative risk analysis and plan risk response. So now what happens? So your risk register has the risk elements, descriptions, the event with the risk associated, then the probability and the impact value of the risk elements, you have the severity of the risk, you have prioritized the risk and the action plan for the risks. Clear risk, the owner of the risk, whosoever the risk is assigned to, isn't it? And for stakeholder, you have also come out with planned stakeholder management, that is your stakeholder management plan as to how you are going to manage your stakeholder. Apart from that, you also come out with your change management plan as to how you are going to manage changes in your project. So outputs of all these plans are used, are fed as input for which process? Develop project management plan. You come out with your integrated collated plan, which is called the project management plan. So now your mother plan is ready. Clear? Now that you have your plan, this plan is used. Why do you have a plan? Why do you have a plan? Plan tells you what you're going to do.
Guidelines.
Plan guides you as to how you're going to execute. So your project management plan is fed as an input for the next process, which is called direct and manage project work. So what are the inputs? Project management plan. Approve change request, because you need to incorporate the approved change request that needs to be implemented, incorporated. Come on with your deliverables. Change request, project management plan and project document updates. Clear? Now, for scope there is no process under executing. For time, no process. Cost, no process. Quality, was there any process under executing? Yes. What was the process? Perform quality assurance. Now, what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? We perform quality assurance on a process. We need to ensure that the process is in place, because if the process is in place, we can expect that the output is also going to be in place, isn't it? Now, for HR, what were the processes under executing? We had three processes. What were they? Acquire project team, develop project team, and manage project team. Isn't it? So output of acquired project team was what? Project staff assignment and resource calendar. Fed as an input for the next process. Isn't it? Now remember, we have seen the motivational techniques. What were the motivational theories we have seen? We have seen McGregor's theory X and Y. Can all of you relate to? We have seen Hesburgh's principle. What did Hesburgh say? Frederick Hesburgh, he listed a couple of hygiene principles. He said that if you are not having those, he listed a couple of hygiene principles. He said that if you are not having those hygiene factors, then what happens? your productivity is going to go down. However, if you are having those hygiene factors, that would not necessarily mean
That
that
will
your
go up.
productivity is going to go up. Okay? McGregor theory of X and Y we have seen. We have seen William House's theory of Z. We have seen Abraham Maslow's theory. What did Maslow said first? Physiological needs is to be fulfilled. After physiological needs are fulfilled, then security, then social, then self-esteem, then self-actualization. Okay, then we have seen Victor Vroom's theory, expectancy theorem by Victor Vroom. What did Victor Vroom say? We have seen that Victor Vroom was one of the most practical of the motivational gurus. What did he say?
What I am doing.
What I am doing,
What I am doing.
Yes,
what I get paid, and
yes. Three simple things. You know, like
how
the
much
level of
how much will I?
Yes, he said in fact the level of motivation depends on three things. First, the job which I am doing, is it important? If it is important, am I going to be rewarded? And if I am going to be rewarded, what is going to be the value of the reward? As simple as that. Clear? Next, for communication, what was the process? Manage communication. Isn't it? Risk, did we have any process executing? No. Procurement, did we have any process? Yes. What was it called? Conduct procurement. Conduct procurement was a process of finalizing the vendor, eventually awarding the contract to the vendor. Isn't it? Clear? So even your contract came out as an output of this process. Okay? And for stakeholder we had manage stakeholder engagement. Isn't it? Next we moved into monitoring and controlling. In monitoring and controlling, for project integration management, we had seen how many processes? 2. What were they? What were they, Sudhakar? Perform, integrated, change, control and monitor and control project work. Now, in order to monitor and control project work, we have seen the simple thumb rule. You need a plan, actuals, you compare your plan with actuals, there would be a deviation. Whenever there would be a deviation, you need to rectify it, put it back to track, for which there would be a change request, and whenever there would be a change request, project plan and your project document would be updated. Clear? In order to perform integrated change control, you can only perform an integrated change control only when there is a change request. So you would be having change requests. That's the most important input. But in order to make a decision, you need to require your project plan and your work performance information. Isn't it? Work performance data. Output would be change requests, approved change requests, isn't it? And you also would be maintaining a change log. Clear? Okay. For scope, we had 2 processes under monitoring. What were they?
Validate and control.
Validate scope and
Control scope.
control scope. Now, the deliverable which came out of your executing process, this was fed as an input to control quality. It came out as a validated deliverable, verified deliverable. This verified deliverable is fed as an input to validate scope. So, validate scope is a process of validating the acceptance of the deliverable. With respect to the requirements, you would be having a requirement documentation, requirement traceability matrix, tools and techniques would be inspections, isn't it? Output would be accepted deliverable. There could be changes also, change requests. Whenever there is change request, project plan, project document would be updated, and this accepted deliverable would be fed as an input for close project and phase, and it comes out as your final product, service and result. Clear? And for time cost, again you have your control, schedule, control cost. For quality, we have seen that. For HR, did we have any process? No. Communication, control, communication, risk, control risk, procurement, control procurement, stakeholder, control stakeholder engagement. Is the framework clear?
Yeah.
Clear all of you?
Yes.
We are the 47.
Simple? Sudhakar? Clear? Sumit? Harsh? Navneet? Great. So now what we're going to do is that, now we're going to discuss the plan. What is it that we're going to study and how we're going to study? As I said, on day 1, that I would be ensuring that all of you are a certified PMP within the next 2 to 3 months. Provided you give me 2 hours every day and 5 days during the weekend, that's what I said. And assuming that your ability to comprehend the languages of a particular level. That's also very important. Okay, so what is it that we are going to do?